You got your paperwork?
Yeah.
That's not good.
No.
Make sure we was in the safe zone, or
Woohoo!
you know,
Congratulations.
hopefully it's a boy. We'll name him Gabe.
I love it. That's great.
As well you should. All right. Anyway, now we've got congratulations aside. I would love to continue that, but it is now my duty as mayor to call this meeting to order. It is now, I'm going to call it 7 o'clock. So if you all will bear with me, I'm not really sure on the invocation and pledge, but we're going to do it our best. I see our good counselor has an American flag behind him. So if you all will look at the American flag, I will go through the invocation. If you will bow and pray with me and say the pledge. Heavenly Father, we thank you for another day on this earth. We ask you, Lord, to please guide us as elected officials to make the best decisions for our city going forward. We ask that you keep our minds on a straightforward path to look out for the best interest of our constituents. In your son's name I pray, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Aren't Zoom meetings just the best? Sharon, could I get a roll call, please?
Barb,
Here.
Terry,
Here.
Bobby,
Here.
Rose. Didn't I see her on here?
I have-
Stephanie,
Here.
Matt.
Here.
Okay. So a few quick announcements. October 31st will be Halloween, trick-or-treating, 6 to 8 p.m. in the city. It is encouraged that if you were not willing to participate, that you turn your lights off. If you are willing to participate, turn your lights on and trick or treat accordingly. November 3rd will be a caucus meeting at 6:30. Location to be determined. Very good possibility that it will be another Zoom call, depending on where we are with the current pandemic.
You want to move that meeting, Gabe, to Wednesday or something?
Matt, I would need
A motion?
Mike, should we do that during the announcements or after the approval of the agenda?
It does matter. I mean,
We've talked about this. I'm fine with it. But I think we had some council members that could do it one day and could not do it another. So I believe November 4th, Barb?
Is my 25th anniversary. Yes.
So November 2nd was the date that you could do it?
Correct. Or the 3rd. It doesn't matter. I'm good on the 3rd too.
Okay. And I would, so I think the consensus in caucus meeting was the 2nd, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm not opposed to a day after, but I think traditionally Mondays have been a day that we've done caucus or council meetings and caucus meetings before. So if somebody would like to make the motion for Monday the 2nd, then we can go with that.
I motion that we move the caucus meeting in November to Monday, the 2nd.
Second.
Okay, Barb,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Bobby,
Yes.
Stephanie,
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we'll move on to the next announcement would be the November 10th planning meeting at 6:15. Location to be determined. November 10th council meeting at 7. Location to be determined.
Gabe, why can't we just say that they're going to be Zoom meetings?
I mean,
Does everybody, never mind. I'm not going to speak there. But
Barb,
Zoom-
That's fine with me, Barb. It don't matter.
I
They're a
think-
whole lot easier to be able to sit from home and do a meeting for sure.
Well, Rose, are you there? Okay. All right. I don't know how that works, Rose. Counselor, I've got Rose Beach on my phone. Does she have to? She can't get her iPad to work.
Just, can you put her on speakerphone from there?
Rose, can you hear Mike?
I can hear Mike.
Can everybody hear Rose?
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Counselor, I need your.
I think this will be fine considering that we're still in an emergency.
Okay. All right, Rose, bear with me. Everybody can hear you.
Okay. I'm sorry, but I've been working on this for about 10 minutes and I can't get it to work right.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna walk across the street in my.
Have her come over there.
Let her come to your house.
No, I can hear y'all just real good.
All righty. I've got over half a phone charge here, so I should be okay. Yeah, we could call them Zoom meetings. We could say Zoom meetings, but honestly, I think we're more productive, particularly with caucus meetings when we could all sit around in person. So yes, I know it's very convenient and it's very nice to do Zoom meetings. But I don't want to spoil everybody. But yeah, probably they're going to be Zoom meetings. So let's just count on that. And if it changes, it changes. But yeah, probably there's just going to be Zoom meetings till the end of the year.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
All right. If I could I please get an approval of the agenda?
Motion.
Can I ask a question, Gabe? Are you not going to have the veteran program on Veterans Day?
I planned on it. It didn't make it on this.
Yeah, I didn't see it on the agenda. That's why, on the announcements, that's why I said something.
No.
Oh, I just
no.
forgot.
Nope, it's still planned. What it's going to look like, I don't know. Participants, I don't know, but we're going to have it. So, yeah.
Okay.
And that will be at the usual time, November 11th, 11 o'clock. What the rest of the agenda for the day as far as the meal goes, we'll be notified here soon. If I could I please get an approval of the agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Barb,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Bobby,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Stephanie,
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Okay, and if I could get, depending on how council wants to do it, if I could get the approval of the previous minutes for September 1st caucus and September 8th council meeting. In the past, we've combined those for the approval. I would need,
Right. Motion to approve together.
Second.
okay,
Barb,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Bobby,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Stephanie,
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
okay. Going through citizens' comments. I do not see anyone from the sheriff's department on this call, so I will skip them. I do see Chief Vest is on the call. Chief, are you here?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
All right. Not that it matters, but I'd like to first say I personally hate Zoom meetings because it always leads to some kind of issue, this meeting included. So I apologize. My camera isn't working. It was working about 10 minutes before the meeting. My IT guy went out on a run, so naturally it quit working on me.
Mhm.
But just to let City Council know, for the month of September of 2020, we responded to 96 EMS-related incidents and an additional 43 fires. There was 5 overdoses that we responded to during the month and 7 motor vehicle crashes. With regards to COVID and the pandemic, which is on the forefront of everybody's minds, we've had very minimal impact here as far as having to treat COVID positive patients. We have had them, but not in large numbers by any means. Something else that I want to be sure and let City Council know, because of COVID, the Boy Scouts and fire department's been doing a trick or trunk in October for the last few years. This year I've decided that we need to cancel that. It's out of an abundance of caution, but people tend to gather up and group up out here when we've done that in the years past. And I'm just, again, taking an abundance of precaution with canceling it. I certainly don't want anybody to wind up sick as a result of some type of festivity like that. So that is all I have, unless anybody with council has any questions.
Chief, I was really disappointed to see that cancel as well, because I was looking forward to upsetting a bunch of people this year when I handed out king size candy bars to kids with a little vote for me card. So
You just bring them candy bars up here to my office, and I'll help you out with those.
yeah, that uniform shirt's already getting a little tight there, Chief.
Easy now.
Yeah.
Laundry shrunk him.
I'm not going to comment on anybody's weight and what their shirts look like while they're wearing them. So, all right. So thank you, Chief. I appreciate you being on this call. So we have Cardinal Engineering, Matt Bogan.
Thank you, Mayor. On the High Street project, I put in a call to Dunrobin earlier today to see if they had made any headway with the railroad on the construction agreement they had sent previously. I hadn't heard back. I'm assuming that does not mean they've had any developments since the last time we talked. On the 2020 resurfacing, Michael's has been underway for the last couple weeks. The resurfacing is done on Old Nicholson, Elmwood, Richland, Chambers, and Welsh. They got set a little bit behind on the concrete panel replacement on Brookwood and Cliffs and Panzaretta. Their concrete crew was just overbooked, so they brought in a subcontractor. They should have been on Brookwood today, and then they'll be following up in Cawthon Run later this week. So I know some of the residents back there had some questions, just wanting to know when work would resume. And Michaels will drop off notices to anybody who might be out of their driveway for a few days. Also, we met with Michaels a while back about doing some widening on Needmore. They're going to put in widen by about 18 inches from the church entrance to Beatrice. The cost of that was $18,155, but part of that is offset by reduced milling that they needed on Richland and Chambers. Some of the areas where the pavement was in a little bit worse shape, they felt that it would hold up better if they just put an overlay on it instead of trying to mill it down. Follow up on something we've talked about the last couple months on the MS4 program. The properties on 115 to 125 Old Stevenson Mill that have a shared retention pond. The property owners have been working on putting together a scope of work to drain the wet pond and just make it a dry detention pond and do some grading in the backyards and clearing and all that. I sent them a copy of the improvement plans that we have on file. Unfortunately, we didn't have any kind of stormwater, detention reports or anything like that. I'm not sure if it would even have been required at the time, but I recommend that they get in touch with the Planning Commission and see what they've got on hand. I just wanted, since this is the first time that we've run into a situation like this since we started the MS4 permit, I just want to make sure that the property owner provides some kind of documentation for what they're doing and that they are not going to, make the pond less effective than it is currently. So that, in the future, if we have a stickier situation or there's a property owner that's very, resistant to doing anything, that we have a process to fall back on. Also, we are waiting on G&T Excavation to provide a quote for drainage improvements on a couple of properties on Ashwood Court. I talked to Roger earlier today. He was going to follow up with them, and he thought they should be getting us something soon. And then something that had been brought up last month, I think, I talked to the state about the signal timing on Mary Grubbs at School Road and Dixie Highway at Chambers. They went out there and observed it, made some adjustments, I think, especially at the signal at Chambers. They said that the railroad crossing on Old Lexington Pike should have a railroad preemption, meaning when there's a train going by the crossing, it will short that side of the signal and not give them extra time since nobody's passing through it. But sometimes those programming adjustments don't go through. So that should be fixed. I haven't been through there in a week or two. If anybody notices that it still seems like it's not giving adequate time, let me know and I'll give them a call back. Also, I checked back for an update on the potential of them doing an interchange study at the I-75 interchange. They didn't give me any updates on either striping improvements or a more elaborate interchange modification study. So I'll check back with them again and see if I can get any updates on that. Are there any questions?
Matt, that repair that they did to Elmwood, have you looked at that?
I went through when they did the base repairs, or slightly after they did the base repairs. I have not seen the surface yet, but I was going to come down tomorrow and check in on things. Yeah,
it doesn't look like it's even with the rest of the road to me. It looks like there's a drop off there. And then at the very end where Elmwood meets Brookwood, there's, I guess, a broken triangle-like part that's got mud and stuff there. It probably needs to be fixed too.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check on that. Anything else?
Matt, I will follow up with you tomorrow sometime during the afternoon on a few things.
Okay.
Anybody else, as far as council goes, have any questions?
Nope.
Thanks.
All right, we will move along on the agenda then.
Mayor, I think Margie wanted to say something. Margie, did you still want to talk?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, Margie. I saw Stuart down there, but I didn't know who it was. Hi, Margie.
Okay, hello.
Okay, so we will go
Mayor,
through.
before you move on, you also have Howie on here. I don't know if he wanted to.
Howie, you got anything to say?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. So as far as ordinances go, we have the second reading of ordinance number 2020-06 of the city of Walton, Kentucky, amending section 50.50 of the City of Walton Code of Ordinances in order to revise the rates charged to customers for water services furnished by the city to help offset the increased cost charged by the city's suppliers effective 1/1/2021. Counselor, turn it over to you.
Okay, Mayor and Council, this is, as you indicated, second reading. This is ordinance 2020-06. The title is an ordinance of the City of Walton, Kentucky, amending section 50.50 of the City of Walton Code of Ordinances in order to revise the rates charged to customers for water services furnished by the city to help offset the increased costs charged by the city suppliers. If you look down toward the bottom of the page, it shows the revisions that are proposed for this ordinance. Basically, the base rate, the minimum rate, would go from $18.25 to $19.16 per month. That's for within the city limits. And then outside the city limits goes from $21.08 to $22.13. That'll get you the first 2,000 gallons of water, up to the first 2,000. The next 3,000, the next 5,000, everything over 10,000 is similarly increased as on the bottom of the. So if you wish to implement that, you can adopt the ordinance by motion.
Now, this is our 5% increase January 1, 5% increase July 1, correct?
It's only showing one increase on the rates, so
Yeah,
I don't think it'd be proper to vote on both if we don't have both rates.
Our first
But that's-
reading, of this ordinance was for a 5% increase January 1 and a 5% increase July 1.
Right. I think I just read from the wrong draft of the ordinance. I don't think I have the new one here. But as you indicated, it's 5% each time. The ordinance that you did first reading on had that in there. I just don't have it with me.
All right, I motion.
Yeah, the ordinance that I'm looking at here has a section 2 that lists.
Put that on your screen, Barb, will you?
It actually has the same thing though for section 1 and section 2 as far as the rates go.
Yeah, section 1 shows the changes graphically with yellow highlighting, underlining, and strike through. Section 2 just shows what it'll look like afterwards.
Okay.
I just printed out the wrong version of it.
Now, it don't have both rates on there though, correct? I haven't seen both rates. Sharon, do you know?
Yes, the
Yeah, it
revised one
doesn't
has,
have the 2.
it should be in your
Both of-
Dropbox, the revised.
Sharon, could you share screen?
I can't, I don't have, I'm on the laptop and I don't have any of the files on the laptop.
I mean, the January 1 increase is 5% higher than what it is now. And then the July 1 would be 5% higher than that.
All right. Well, come
Correct.
up with the math and tell me what that is, Bobby.
That's what we discussed.
10% higher than what it is now.
Yeah, obviously.
It's you're talking about a few dollars.
Right. When we talked about this, about
Well, we don't have the rates, so I just don't think it's proper to vote on it if we ain't got the information in front of us. That's my opinion. So,
We have the proposed increase, which is 5% January 1, 5% July 1.
and Sharon says it's in the Dropbox.
Well,
Yes.
maybe I'm missing something because I'm looking in the Dropbox and the revised one is the one I'm looking at, and it doesn't have anything about the second increase.
Mike, would you be so kind as to, do you have what the strike through is? I could do the math pretty quickly, I think. I'm no John Wainwright, but I could probably run through it. Yeah, Sharon.
well, I don't disagree with that.
Can you see that? No.
I have the 32, but it is. I do not have that in Dropbox. It shows both rates.
Well, then maybe we need to get away from digitally doing anything and start mailing out stuff to council again.
I can do that.
I have the packet, but I don't have one that's got the two separate rates on it either.
Well, council, it's your all's meeting, so
Motion.
I have one motion. Do I have a second?
What was the motion to pass it? Who did that?
Motion to approve the ordinance.
I agree. Second.
Okay. Barb,
Yes.
Terry,
No.
Bobby,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Stephanie,
No.
Matt,
No.
Mayor.
Yes. Okay. Next will be a first reading of ordinance 2020-12 of the city of Walton, Kentucky, amending ordinance 2018-15 in section 31.03 of the city of Walton Code of Ordinances in order to revise the future compensation for the mayor and members of council and to revise the policies and procedures for the payment of the compensation. I will turn this over to Mike, but I will say this is written and sponsored by Councilwoman Farrow. So I will open it up. Mike, if you would like to expand on that, and then I will open it up for discussion.
Okay, if you look on the second page, beginning at the top, section D is proposed to be amended. The compensation for city council members from $3,000 to $6,000. And I've got a typo there. I've got the wrong thing blocked out. So that's Barb's proposal, is to raise it from 3,000 to 6,000, I believe, beginning on January 1, 2023, and raise the compensation of the mayor. And I've got the same typo there, from 6,000 to 12,000. And again, that would be effective January 1, 2023. The last change went into effect apparently in 2017. Paragraph F revises it from one lump sum payment per year to two payments per year. First one before the June City Council meeting, second one before the December City Council meeting. The language in F1 relating to if you don't serve out your term on how to get paid and how much you can get paid. And then just some typographical type revisions for the rest of it. So you all typically vote on first reading. If you want this to be the first reading, you can go ahead and do that now.
I just want to point out that not long ago, we did budget talks and discussed our employees' raises. And we fought like dogs over 0.1%. And now we're going to vote and give the future council 100% increase, which is needed. And so is the mayor. But, it's pretty ironic that we wanted to yell and scream at each other about 0.1%. That's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't at caucus, but me and Barbara's talked about this several times. It's not going to affect anybody running or on council now. And when you're a council member, typically you do put in work, and the mayor, I mean, I know Gabe puts in a lot of work, so I don't have anything against it. Either way, I'm good with it.
The only reason I went on and did this now is it's not going to affect me one way or the other because I'm not running this time anyway, but, or the next time. But we tried to do this once before and it looked like we were trying to push something through quickly just because of the deadline that was there. I honestly believe, after having served on council, that I think council deserves to be paid more than what they're paid because they put in a lot of time. And the mayor, he definitely puts in more time than what people think he does. He does more than just shovel shit off of sidewalks. So I really believe that the council and the mayor, whoever it may be, come January 1, 2023, deserves to be paid more.
Any other comments from council?
Mayor and council, I will correct what I said before. It is written correctly. There's no typo in it. It's raising 3,000 to 6,000 for council and 6,000 to 12,000 for mayor, and that's how it reads.
Yes.
All right. Well, like you all, like I've said, it is your all's meeting, but this does concern me, so I will chime in if you'll allow me. I do appreciate the opportunity for the future mayor or myself, depending. There's absolutely no guarantee. You could ask me any day of the week whether I'm going to run again, and I'll tell you it depends on the day, and that's the absolute truth. I do think that the office of the mayor should be compensated more, and I'm not going to discredit the work that a council does. I do know a few things. Currently, this council is paid at roughly about the 50th percentile for council members for cities of our size throughout the state. The mayor's office is currently paid at a roughly slightly below the 25th percentile for mayors for cities our size. I will also say that this increase is probably going to put council at roughly about the 88th percentile for cities our size, and would put the mayor's salary at roughly about the 50th percentile for cities our size. And I won't say one way or another. It's your all's to vote on. But I will also would add to the deal that not to take anything away from anybody's position or what they do, but I will say that the office of the mayor, as somebody who served on council for 5 years and 3 months, and kind of laughed when our previous mayor wanted a city administrator, along with some others. Having seen it from both sides, I will say the mayor's position does a lot more than you would ever think. So in my opinion, I would say that in 4 months' time, the office of the mayor would take more phone calls, answer more emails, take more days off work. I'm losing track here. Phone calls, answering, calls during lunch. I would say that the office of the mayor, almost does the work of a council combined, even though we're all co-equal branches. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful to anyone. So I do not, while I appreciate the pay raise, I don't think it adequately, I don't think it's even Steven here. But like I said, there's no guarantee that I'm going to either A, run for reelection, B, there's no guarantee that I would be. I do appreciate the sentiment, and I think the increase in pay to council and the increase in pay to the mayor would encourage our citizens, as you know, council members, there's a lot of people that like to chime in on everything and never step up for anything. So I think this is enticing, or would be enticing, for qualified individuals. And not to say that any of you all aren't qualified. You all certainly are. That's just my thoughts and my opinions on it. We didn't have a full council at our caucus meeting, so we didn't go through it. But since we've opened it up to discussion, that's my thoughts. It is yours to vote on. This is your meeting, so go forward as you wish.
Well, I say we table it and discuss it at caucus next month, and instead of having it on the agenda, since we didn't talk about it at caucus to begin with. But
Well,
that's just my 2 cents.
We would have talked about it more at caucus if we had had a full caucus.
Yeah, it was Barb did ask if we wanted to discuss it. So
Well,
absolutely, yeah.
I appreciate the information that the mayor shared. I think that's eye-opening, and I agree with most everything he said. And I do believe that the mayor's position does deserve more. When you speak about the percentile of where we currently stand, then perhaps the suggestion would be, rather than a 100% increase for council, that we look at somewhere in between.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
That's just my 2 cents. But again, I appreciate the facts that were shared.
yeah, we're not too far. I don't think any of us are too far from believing that Walton is obviously in need of a full-time mayor. I mean, and obviously 12,000 a year isn't going to get you a full-time mayor. Mike, is there rules? What are the rules based on like pay raises for council to mayor? And I've heard things from past mayors that certain increases, like the mayor can't make more X amount more than council at a time, or is there anything to that?
There are caps on what council and mayor can make, but it's $70,000 range. So, this is well within. There is no law that says that the mayor's has to be 50% more or 100% more, or it's totally up to council. And of course, the mayor would either have to sign off on the ordinance or not. But those ratios that you were talking about, that I find nothing in the law that
All right.
covers that.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of, I guess, agree with Matt. I mean, I mean, it was up for discussion at the caucus meeting to those of us that were there. The only reason to maybe wait on this a little bit would be to discuss whether or not we want to adjust the mayor's compensation at all. Obviously, a 100% increase on council is more than enough, in my opinion. But that's up to everybody else.
Like I said, it's your all's meeting. It's always your all's meeting. This is not a mayor's meeting. It's a council meeting. So 100% your all's call. If you want to go forward with the vote, I would need a motion. If you would want to table for further discussion, I would need a motion for that.
What do you think, Barb? It's your ordinance.
It doesn't matter to me. Like I said, it's not going to pertain to me at all. All I'm trying to do is look out for the future council and mayor. But if they want to table it, We'll discuss it at the caucus. Maybe everybody will show up at caucus next time.
Very true.
Yeah, I'm not retired, Barb, so sometimes I got stuff to do. But
Well,
carry on.
I know that we all have stuff to do, and I agree that, but sometimes I think there needs to be some kind of ordinance requiring people to come to meetings, and if they miss so many, then their pay gets affected too. I really feel like this is our job, and that's what you ran for. So unless it's an emergency, I think we should be here.
Well, let's not get off. I appreciate the sentiment on that, Barb, but I know Councilwoman Courtney was out of town and Matt had a previous commitment, and I knew about both of them. So I'm not going to say that they were just in derelict of duty. It's just one of those things that happens. I don't disagree with you on the sentiment that people should show up to meetings, but sometimes things happen, and there are situations. I don't think I don't think either one of them have. I know Councilman Brown hasn't just skipped meetings for no reason, and I know Terry had a family vacation. And I don't disagree with you.
But I am amused though that some absences would be questioned when others aren't. I apologize that I wasn't here. I was on a family vacation, but I take my role and responsibility with great honor and integrity I have, so I wouldn't just not come to a meeting.
I have never just questioned some absences because I think all of them should be accounted for. And unless, like I said, unless it's an emergency, I think we should be there. I mean, we ran to be on this position, and we should be at the meetings unless it's an emergency. Now, whatever other people think, that's fine, but that's just the way I feel, that if you have a job, you do the job.
Look, all right, let me chime in here real quick. I think we're getting off track. This is specifically the first reading of an ordinance. So I don't want to get off on a tangent. This is something that's should be perfectly stated in a caucus meeting, which might be the reason why it's still labeled on our agenda as to be determined as far as location goes, because these things sometimes are better discussed around a table. So we're not going to get into, I don't want to call it a pissing match, but my lack of vocabulary is very limited. So I'm just going to say, I'm just going to call for a motion.
We're just going to table this.
Okay. Second.
Motion to table?
Yes.
Okay. Barb?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Okay. It looks like we're coming to, actually, I'm we didn't go through citizens' comments per se. So Howie, do you have anything to say?
Not really. I just agree with some of the things Barb was saying. So
Sure. Okay. Ms. Stewart, Margie. do you have-
Yes. On the council that Terry brought up, what I was thinking is that do you have to go from 300 to 600? Could you do a lower thing? So, and then I think Mr. Duncan had mentioned that you don't have to do it 100% or 300. But if you would raise, if you could do lower the percentage of the council and add that to the mayor's, that would be interesting. If he was
Okay.
going to do that.
All right. Thank you, Margie. I will go to council comments. I'm going to call them as I see them on the screen. Terry, you're first on my screen.
None, thank you.
Barb, you are second on my screen.
No, thank you.
Stephanie, you are third on my screen.
No, thank you.
Isabel, oh wait, that's not
Sorry.
Isabel. That's Councilman McDonald. You are next on my screen.
Oh, I have some comments, but we're going to wait for a caucus meeting for that.
Okay. I have Matthew Brown.
Congratulations to Stephanie and then Roger and Cassandra and all our city people, and go vote on election day. Good luck to everybody that's running. And Howie, I'm sure we'll see you on council. You're doing a good job on your campaign, so good luck to y'all.
well, I hope so. Thanks.
All right. Next, I've got Rose.
No comment.
Rose has no comment. So I guess that leaves mayor's comments.
It's a council meeting, Gabe.
Well, the mayor's
I was just
comment. Thank you very much, jerk. I want to thank you all. I want to thank council for consideration and the things that you all do. This has been probably the craziest year I've ever experienced in my life. So I want to thank you all for the work that you do. Also, you know, I don't want to let any disagreements and things of that nature keep us short-sighted. I want to keep us moving forward. So, you know, I think that we do a really good job at that. And I just want you all to know that I appreciate everything you do. Congratulations, Stephanie. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
And that's all I've got. So if I could get a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Barb,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Bobby,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Stephanie,
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Okay, I will see you all when I see you.
Night, everybody.
Have a good night.